Hello and welcome to a new episode. This week I'm alone. Alex is on a vacation, so yeah, I'll be alone. And what I plan to talk about is a question I get quite a lot, which is how do I approach like social media in order to like share my content, build personal brand, and that sort of stuff. Like kind of how I think about when I just go online, when I create my profile, when I publish content, how much I publish, and what do I publish and that sort of stuff. I just want to explain kind of my simple system and how I think about all this stuff which relates to like posting stuff online and building a personal brand or your real brand, doesn't really matter. Though it does. Like actually at the beginning I was thinking that should I build like a personal brand or should I build like a company type of brand? For example, Jack Butcher have this brand Visualize Value. And later on, he started really with like Visualize Value, and later on he created his personal brand, and he's kind of growing them simultaneously right now, and it's working out really good for him. But kind of what I decided early on was that I didn't want to make a company type of brand. Personally, like I like to buy from people, I like to engage with people. I didn't want to hide behind some sort of brand I have created, and I didn't want the hassle. I like to approach things from this, minimalistic mindset, and I didn't want the hassle to have like many accounts and build my personal brand and then that. So I decided I'll just go with personal brand. I like when other people do that. It just feels more human, and that's the reason kind of why I decided to go with my personal brand with my name and my face, and that's how you can find me on like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So that's kind of the first thing. Next thing is how do I approach my like not creation process, but what do I decide that I want to publish, how often I want to publish, and that sort of stuff. So here a very important lesson I learned from Tim Urban, who is the man behind the Wait But Why blog. It's a very popular blog, I think one of the world's like biggest probably. But yeah, I don't know. But kind of how he approaches his content creation. He imagines a stadium full of Tim Urbans, basically just a stadium with himself. And when he writes his blogs, he creates content for himself. And that's something what I really liked and what I adapted as well. Instead of like creating this problem or trying to find my secret interesting niche where and what I want to do, I simply decided, okay, I like this. I like to create, visuals. It sounds like a great way how to communicate ideas. I love to do it. It's not that hard. Does not take too much of my time like YouTube or blogging or that sort of stuff. That's why I decided to create visuals. And what content, what ideas to share, I figured out I want to share something that I would like to see, and that's basically how I approach it. I really just think about, okay, what I like to see, what ideas I like. So it's very cool. Like I'm just I'm engaging my curiosity, and I'm just doing the stuff I like, and in that way, by posting online, basically I just attract people who are kind of similar to me or like similar ideas. And yeah, it's worked out well. And here, kind of moving on forward, that's a very common theme I think about a lot. Like, first of all, you probably know of like the 80-20 principle, when like whatever. Basically, the idea I'm trying to say here is that the principles I will now explain to you and how I approach this stuff, I apply them like 80% of the time, because it's hard when you create very specific constraints to yourself, very specific rules to yourself, and you live by them, 100%. Of course, sometimes it's useful, but it's very nice to apply this 80-20 mindset, and that, okay, 80% of the time, do this thing, follow these principles, this is your main thing, but 20% of the time, do whatever you want, be human, just break rules. It's very normal. Same as like some people have, very strict diets, but they follow this 80-20 principle as well. And, they have like once a week or once every 2 weeks cheat day, where they can eat whatever they want or something like that. So it's something similar here. Just it can get overwhelming and hard when you create these rules for yourself and you follow them 100% of the time. it's nice to adapt this 80-20 mindset and just give yourself a bit of playground and flexibility to just be a crazy monkey whenever you want. So yeah, okay, continuing in terms of these rules. So one of the question I ask is like, how do I want people to perceive me when I post stuff online? It's not kind of from like arrogant type of way, but it's something that it's important to think about. Okay, when people see my work online, when I share something, what do I want kind of to communicate to people? When people click on my Instagram profile, when people click on my Twitter profile, what kind of feeling, emotion, ideas, not ideas, but just perception I want to leave to those people? And this is very important, because think about it. It's like, if you constantly, retweet other people's work, just share everything that is on your mind, good work, random thoughts, this and that, it creates like huge amount of noise. And for example, if I click on your profile, then I might be confused, like, okay, what are you really about? Like, I'm confused. You share so much things and it's just, you get lost or whatever. But if you click on my Twitter profile or Instagram profile, it's pretty clear what do I do. Okay, this dude shares ideas about like creativity and a bit like personal development wrapped in these simple visuals. Sometimes he tweets something, sometimes he maybe do something else. Okay, sometimes he do a sales pitch for his course, or sometimes he's do a behind the scenes Twitter thread, but most of the time it's these visuals with some sort of ideas around like creativity and whatnot. And when you think about it like that simple exercise to think, okay, when people discover me online, how do I want them to see me and remember me? Just think about this question, because with this example I just explained, you can clearly understand how big of an impact it can make. And you can think about this like, for people you follow, when you click somebody's profile and click follow, why did you follow them? What's the reason, And pay attention to the people who are like, oh my God, I need to follow this guy. Like, he sounds interesting. I want to hear more from him, or whatever. What are those reasons that you'll, click that button and just was so intrigued by it? Pay attention to that, because a lot of people have these fans, oh, I really like what he does and he does. And then you just do something, just create loads of noise and complete craziness, and you hope that things will work out. But often it doesn't, because you lack the intention to kind of craft your whole content and how you kind of perceive and approach things online. Just the way how you approach this might be just all over the place, and it lacks intention. So be intentional about it. Then just kind of follow your actions, and every now and then look at your profile. Okay, am I doing that? Like, am I happy with the intention I set? That, okay, when people like discover me online, I want them to perceive me as this and that. Are you accomplishing that, or you see some improvements, or maybe you thought, that's a shitty perception. I could do something else, and then you change your strategy, and that's completely fine. But have that intention behind your kind of ideas. Okay, another thing, which is again filters through the stuff what I like to consume. For example, and there are levels here. Let me kind of explain. But personally, like, just imagine if you post or tweet, 10 times a day, create a lot of noise. On Instagram, you constantly like share stories, retweet everything what others have made, and just are all over the place and constantly generate this noise. I think it's fine, I guess, at the beginning when you're kind of figuring stuff out, but it's tiring for people. Like, do you really like read everything that somebody shares? And even if, like, I don't know, somebody who I like really like online, for example, I don't know what comes to mind. Let's take an example. Naval, who was on Twitter, like really famous and shares these like awesome, simple ideas in tweet form. He doesn't post very like regularly or whatnot. So when I see he delivers something, I will lean in and I will check out, okay, what this guy is sharing. It's always very interesting. So when I see his like name popping up in my timeline, I always pay attention. But even if I like really like love Naval and his ideas and all the stuff he does, if he would post like 10 times a day, I would I would probably be tired at some point. Even like I really, kind of love what he do. It might get overwhelming for me, and I might like tune out more regularly. And I have really paid attention to this. Like, yeah, even for the people I really admire, if they post too much, I'll start to like engage less with their content. So it's important to find this balance. For me, it's most of the time it's just one post a day. One good post a day is good enough. Sometimes I will do a bit more or less, but if I show up, once a day, it's usually not overwhelming for people, and that's kind of a good balance to remain. Because remember, more content is like not better. More posts usually are not better. Of course, it depends on your intentions, and there might be different cases, but that's how like I approach it, and I explained a bit the reason why I do it like that. It's mostly to keep this interest, when I had this intention, when Janis posts something, I want people to have that feeling, okay, it's usually, good stuff, interesting ideas wrapped in these simple visuals. It will not take a lot of my time, so I can just, I will stop and appreciate his work, hopefully then, share further and do stuff like that. But that's kind of my intention, and that's how I approach to fulfill that intention. So, yeah, that was... I explained about the 80-20 rule. That was the most importantly. And yeah, all the stuff which I now explained is like, I do that 80% of the time, but 20% of the time I allow myself to be like monkey and weird and do some other type of things. But yeah, mostly it's about having that intention and then really trying to accomplish what you intended to do. If you don't, then like switch your strategy. Think, what's not working, what is working. Yeah, I think another thing which I early on I did, I wanted to be like very human. I didn't want just to post my stuff, but I didn't want like to clutter my feed with retweeting other people's work and that sort of stuff. So I especially at the beginning, I really engaged in like commenting on other people's work, just genuinely for people that I like their ideas. I just try to open conversations or compliment their work or whatever. That is really helpful, kind of to remind people that you're a human, and that's how you will, like, that is how you probably will attract some people to check out your profile and stuff like that. Yeah, what else I can say here? 80-20 principle, setting intentions, trying to accomplishing that. Just really think about basic human psychology or whatever, just yeah. And I guess the most important thing here is to check out what are you following, and what are you feeling. Just pay attention to your own consumption. Like, why do you like certain people's stuff? Why do you follow them? When do you get annoyed by somebody? And just pay attention to that and think about why, and then try to apply that to your own strategy, because I think it's a pretty good strategy, especially if you build like a personal brand, to just do the stuff that you like to see, be your own be your own audience in some form of way. Yeah, what else? I think I wanted to cover something else. Think about the volume. We discussed that. Create content that you would like to see. Yes, 80-20 principle. Yeah, I think that is that. Be engaging in like kind of the comments, just to remind that you're a human. That's a good way to approach things, I think, especially at the beginning, but it's helpful to do it all the time. It's just later on you might lack a bit of time to reply to everybody and so on. Yeah, I think one useful thing which I did at the beginning as well was that I took Twitter more seriously, and I kind of repurposed my content on Instagram and LinkedIn. But later on, I started to treat Instagram equally kind of serious as Twitter. But I don't know. Still, Twitter is the most fun for me. But yeah, that would be that. And I think when I mention about like the intention that you want to perceive, remember that applies still to your content. That is the reason why, for example, especially on Twitter, all my posts are like short. I don't use like hashtags on Twitter just to try to get some more exposure but clutter the image. It's the same reason kind of why I don't add my watermark on my images. Just it's unnecessary clutter to deliver these ideas, because something I stand for is just I really respect your attention, and when you kind of look at my stuff, I want you to have that feeling that, oh my god, yeah, he's really not wasting my time, he's just delivering these ideas as fast as he can. And that's kind of the perception I try to create, and that's why I have these rules. And that's why I don't do those certain things which I just explained. Yeah, I think that's the main stuff with that which I wanted to cover. It's not some complex profile, the complex system. It's a very, very simple system. I think very human approach to this. And yeah, there are no hacks, no gimmicks, no anything like that. Just a clear intention. How you want other people to perceive your work, and then kind of your personal brand, and just try to accomplish that. And remember, when you think about this, you need to be real. You need to know your own values and stuff like that, because people can sense when you are fake and you are not being authentic and stuff. So yeah, think about that, and make sure you are not trying to create some fake facade of yourself. Be real, but still have that intention. It's kind of a balance that you need to think about. Okay, I think I will wrap up here. If you have any questions, just hit me up in direct messages, or yeah, you can go to my website and drop me a mail. I prefer email, but direct messages are fine as well. Okay, I'm out. Hope this was at least a bit helpful.